Hi, I'm Sydney.
I'm Jonathan. This is our van build.
I think this might just be the biggest transformation. Welcome back, guys. I'm Sydney, and my boyfriend John and I are converting our 2021 Ford Transit into a camper van. We both just separated from the military, and we're just gonna be traveling around the country with our two dogs, Duncan and Naimi. Thanks for watching our videos, and let's go! That was lame. So we've been focusing heavily on cabinets the last week or so. We are gonna talk about the lower kitchen cabinets in a different video, just because we've only done one and we want to do the other one before we make a video out of it. But this weekend we did so much, so we decided to bite the bullet and do our ceiling. So we put up our ceiling because we needed to put the ceiling up before our upper cabinets on the driver's side, as well as the kitchen cabinets. I discussed in a previous video how we made a bad decision with our previous planks for the ceiling. The ones we got are much thinner and much lighter weight, and we used cedar planks and stained them a dark walnut color and then put varnish on it to protect it, and we went with a satin varnish so that it wasn't so glossy. We spent quite a bit of time staining and varnishing and letting those dry weeks ago, and now we put them up. So we started, and what I would recommend to everybody is starting with the very center plank, because if you don't start from the center, all the other pieces aren't going to be correct. So if you start from the very center piece and then move outward, you're going to have a much easier time. When we started with the first plank we put on the ceiling, we started with the one closest to the back of the van, and we had pre-installed the puck light to make sure that we got it in there and it was good.
Puck light.
Puck light. But when we did it in the van for the big piece that goes towards the front of the van, we forgot to put puck lights in before putting it up, so we had to drill puck lights in after it was already on the ceiling. Don't recommend doing that because it makes it harder to drill into the board without worrying you're going to break the cedar plank. But we put the puck lights in and wired them as well so that we could put up the rest of the ceiling, and that'll be discussed in a later video when we talk about electric and wiring. But we went with a single row of puck lights versus doing a row of two along the van. We decided to just go with a row of one because they're going to be pretty bright, and we're going to have a puck light in the shower and two puck lights under the cabinets by the stove. And we're running LEDs along the bottoms of the cabinets on the driver's side. So we're going to have plenty of light in here. We even tested it and it's pretty well lit. So we're not too worried about lighting per se. We started with the middle plank and did the pieces around the fan since the planks couldn't go over the fan, so we had to cut those accordingly. So we had to build around the fan just a little bit and make sure the pieces fit well around the fan framework. But everything else, we just pretty much cut big pieces and then made some seams here and there towards the passenger side of the van. But otherwise, it went up really well and really easy. It took all day to put up the majority of the ceiling. We didn't put the ceiling all the way to the end of the van. We have a plan. We don't know what it is yet, but it's gonna be something cool. We really tag team the building process, so you don't see me in a lot of the videos because they're giving me measurements and I am operating the saw in the background. So if you saw our other videos, we put up the fan first thing. That was the first thing we did in the van, was put the fan in. But what you didn't see is there was a whole other piece of the fan that was missing, and that was the piece that goes on the inside of the van. So once we got the ceiling up and we had the framework for the fan, we put the plastic cover that goes under the fan on the inside up, and now it looks so sleek and professional and beautiful, and I'm obsessed with it. It is the first part of the van that is what it's gonna look like. That is right now what it is gonna be in the end. Everything else needs paint or trim or whatever, but the ceiling is done. The ceiling is a finished product, which is awesome. my little builder buddy. Whoop, filming buddy. Oh, looking cute. It's been really cold and rainy, so they've been in the garage and in the van. Naimi wants to be in the van with us versus out in the garage because it's cold out there. But Duncan is so content just to sit in the garage and chill. I think she prefers to be in the garage and closer to us than in the yard. But yeah, she's a good little helper dog. We have introduced Naimi to the van and the inner parts of the van. We have not brought Duncan in here because there's too many things for her to eat. She is a little over 4 months old and a wild thing and loves to put everything in her mouth. So I worry that she's going to pick up a piece of wiring or a screw and decide that she wants to eat it. So we're not going to bring her into the van until it's cleaned up a little bit. But yeah, Naimi likes it a lot. She thinks it's really cozy. What are you doing? What did you do that for?
Hazard work site.
Do I get workers' comp?
No, you weren't wearing your hard hat.
Oh.
We're actually going to sue you.
What?
You owe me 10 bajillion.
10 bajillion? We have cabinets. Kind of. We put up our cabinets, or what, the start of our cabinets. So, the driver's side of the van is going to have the majority of the cabinet space. That is what John calls my side of the van, because from where the benches to where the cabinets are, there's not a great deal of space. I don't even know that I'm going to be able to sit there. It might end up being the dog side of the van. The driver's side cabinets are for our clothes, some kitchen items in the one right above this sink, but mainly clothes. So we built those pretty big. We built them 12 inches deep and then 14 inches tall, and then just kind of built one big cabinet with framework pieces in the middle to give us separate doors. We put a thin 1/4 inch piece of plywood against the wall to act as the backing for our cabinets. We're also going to put 1/4 inch plywood on the sides and the bottom for the face of the cabinets. So the cabinets we built with 1x4s and 1x2s. So the majority of the framework itself is 1x2s, but the bottom pieces as well as the front pieces that are the majority of the weight bearing pieces are 1x4s. We worried a lot about if they were gonna pull too much on the ceiling. We didn't want them pulling on the ceiling at all. So we were very, very concerned about gravity being our enemy and us not being able to put anything heavy in those cabinets. But I think going with 1x4s on both the bottom of the cabinets and the face of the cabinets to create that 90 was a good choice because they are sturdy. They are up there. We also added a little lip so that when we're moving, if we turn really fast or we hit a bump, our plates, bowls, whatever clothes are not hitting the door first. They're hitting that lip and stopping before they slam into the doors. We did that for all the cabinets. For the cabinets over the stove and the fridge and the passenger side, we opted to do a tiny cabinet above the door and then a larger cabinet above the stove. And that's just gonna be our kitchen items. And we're gonna put puck lights in those ones so that way we're gonna have light when we cook. So that'll be a different video as well. It was easier building the cabinets in the van than outside of the van. When we tried to do the benches the first time, we built everything outside of the van and then tried to put the benches in the van and struggled with making it level and making it 90 with the van. So building inside the van and working with the contour of the walls and contour of the ceiling in-house made it so much easier. We use a brad nailer, which is a godsend. I don't know how we would have done this without a brad nailer. If anyone's doing this job without a brad nailer, I applaud you because I don't know how you would do it. But so this is a brad nailer. It hooks up to a air compressor and it holds a bunch of nails, and then you just have it plugged into an air compressor and then it just shoots out nails. Not rapidly, just as much as you push the button. And we connect the 1/4-inch plywood to the 1x2s or the 1x4s using the brad nailer, and then the 1x4s connect to each other using pocket holes, and the 1x2s where do we just screw into things. I don't know if this is overkill or if it would suffice, but we use a lot of wood glue. Every piece that we put up, every 1/4-inch plywood, every 1x4, 1x2, they're all glued together. The ceiling is not only brad nailed to the framework on the ceiling, it is glued onto the framework of the ceiling. Nothing is going anywhere. I think half our weight is wood glue. The seams along the edges of the cabinets and the ceiling are beautiful and they look amazing. We're gonna add trim and make it look pretty at the end, but the seams look so nice and so straight. It took a little bit of time, but we got them up there and they look really nice. John's dad has been a huge help because him and John brainstorm all the time. Ways to do things. He gives us a lot of good ideas. So we're very grateful that we're not having to completely do this on our own. John knows way more about building things than I do. I would be helpful, but not as helpful as his dad, who has a lot of experience doing woodworking and things like that.
Sydney said we wouldn't make a good team.
We wouldn't?
Yeah, it's fucked up, right?
How the fuck would we not make a good team, man?
I don't know. He's always talking shit.
That's a bunch of bullshit.
We've been all over the place with our build. So the reason we did things in the order that we did them was we can't do some things without doing other things. For example, we can't build the other kitchen cabinet, the bottom kitchen cabinet, until we do the plumbing. We can't do the benches until we do the plumbing. We can do the electric, but we didn't have the pieces that we need. Now we have the pieces we need, but we wanted to get the cabinets up so we could wire for the puck lights. We couldn't do the cabinets before we did the ceiling. So we had to do things in weird orders so that we could do the next thing. We can't do certain things before doing other things. We have been in Kansas now for over a month. We wanted to be done by now, but being inexperienced and not knowing how things work, it delays building a lot. So we're hoping to be out of here by the end of October. We'll see how that goes. We still have a lot to do. We've more things done than we have things left to do, which is really cool. John says every night before we go to bed, we're getting somewhere. Even if we do very little that day, even if we feel a little burnt out, every day he says we're getting somewhere. Every little step is a step towards being done. I think that's a really important mindset to keep, is being optimistic, even though sometimes it can be really hard not knowing what you don't know. If you learn anything from this video, brad nailer, pocket hole. Pocket hole. They're gonna be the most useful things in a van build. And a hole saw. Hole saw, brad nailer, pocket hole-er, and a really good drill. And a really good saw. Okay, there's a lot of things you need. And a lot of things that will make building a van way easier. There's a lot. There's a lot that goes into van building. Buy extra screws. You will never have too many screws. This was probably the most rewarding transformation that we've had in the van because it's starting to look more like a home. It has cabinets and it has a ceiling and it has lights and it has parts of a kitchen and it has kind of a shower. It looks more like what it's going to look like at the end And that is really freaking cool. Like, I don't think it can get better than this in terms of progress. This video is the most progress that we've had this whole damn time. I don't think we can have a bigger transformation video. Maybe when we get the benches up? We're getting somewhere.
That's pretty much it. Put the ceilings up, got some cabinets. It's starting to look like a van. It's starting to get a little cramped, but it's homey.
He hits his head every day.
She hits her head. Never.
0 short
She
people.
can't even see into one of our cabinets.
Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. And next week is gonna be
Something. We have no
Something?
idea. There's some benches, there's some plumbing, there's some bench plumbing.
what? There is a bee in here. Please stay away. No. No. Stay away, bee. No. Ah. Why are you getting closer to me? Don't make a home in my home. Get out of here, bee. Ah! He came right from my face. Stay out of my house. You have your own. He left. Naomi is very concerned for my well-being. I'm okay.
What are you doing?
Ooh.
Spooky!
The bee is back. Bee, why did you come back? Why are you in my van? Thanks for leaving.